If you would like to design a print-in-place key spinner that has a living hinge inside of it, inside of Fusion 360 in just a matter of few minutes, here's exactly how to do it. I'm gonna keep it a bit more fast-paced since I got a few comments or feedback in my last videos that the videos were a bit too slow and going over the basics a bit too much, so I'm gonna try to keep it a bit more experienced for the guys so that it doesn't get boring. Okay, so first of all, we basically need to create the hinge body, so we need to make two bodies, the inner circle and the outer circle, that have a bit of space in between them, which then creates the movement. So let's start a completely new design. Click the create sketch, then we can just select the vertical plane, then make a rectangle that is basically the outline of the body. Now this vertical line will be dimensioned as 4 millimeters, which is a thickness that I found that just works the best because it isn't too small to broke, but it is high enough to actually work and fit inside of your pocket. So, and then this length will be 16 because we will be then revolving it. It will actually double. So this is just the radius, not the diameter. So here's how it looks dimensioned, 16 and 4. And now let's just make the living hinge. So again, click the L for line tool and make the basically the shape for the hinge. Then make a line that goes through the middle of the rectangle. That basically is just a construction line. So click on it and click on X, which makes it construction, so that we can only like use it to work with it. Once you have that, you can click on the constraint of coincident. Once you click on it, you need this point to be coincident on this line. Once you do that, it's straight up on there, and then we need it to be symmetrical as well. So just make these two lines symmetrical across this construction line that we made. That's why it's so important to have it there, right? Yeah, so now as you can see, we have this first line created. Now to make it printable, we of course know that the angle cannot be higher than or lower than 45 degrees because otherwise the printer cannot really do it. So we need to dimension the line of this and then make it like anything higher than 45 degrees, but I really like using 60 degrees because it gives it that a bit better print quality, so it even feels a bit more premium of a print. Then make the dimension for the wall thickness, which is from this point to this point right over here, which I would set to 4 millimeters, or that's the hinge that I created. If you want to make the ring a bit bigger, you of course can. So that's just the outer ring as I showed you before, and now we need to even make the inner ring. So to do that, we can just do it by offsetting the ring that we already have there. So click on the offset tool, then just select this line or double line that we already have there, and then make the clearance. This is basically the space between the two rings. Now if you want, you should definitely watch this video on clearances that I made, because we are making a clearance that will be on both sides. We need a clearance for moving. For moving, a clearance is 0.4 millimeters, but because it's on both sides, we need to add only a half of it because it will double in the final result. So over here you can just input 0.2, which doubles to 0.4 on both sides. But as you can see right now, it isn't fully touching it. So you can either just stretch it and make sure that it like snaps to the line, or you can again use the coincide constraint. Make sure it's done on both sides. Once you have that, you have the first line of the second body created, and now just to finish the body, again select the line tool. As you can see, I have it in my mouse, and then just make sure that you are going at a right angle to the lines that you already have created, so that it's actually straight, not anyhow bent. And now you can just dimension and basically make the wall thickness by doing it like this. And I found that this 1.4 is actually something that gives it a nice wall thickness and makes a great living hinge in the end result. Now this is really everything for the first sketch. Now we can just start revolving this profile of sketch that we created after you click finish sketch. So go in the create menu, select revolve. Once you select it, you can just select the two profiles. Because they are separated by the clearance, it will actually create two bodies instead of one. And as the axis, you can just select the one that is vertical. And as you can see, it makes the it makes the full living hinge. So just click on OK. If you want to see what is actually happening, you can see that over here it's creating the revolve feature, is creating the two profiles and making space between them, and that's why it then is able to spin and actually have the enough space to spin and create the living hinge that then allows it to move freely and do the keychain fun part. So once you have the main hinge created, we can now start sketching the body. Now this is really something that you can completely go wild on your own, but I'm just gonna make what I did. So I'm gonna show you my values and everything that I did. So start a new sketch on top of the face of the living hinge, as you can see right over here. And now what I did was I created two arcs. This is just a really shape that I had in mind when I was creating it, so you can do anything you want really over here. Go as fun as you want. I made these two arcs, then I connected them on both ends with lines. Then because I wanted this line to be horizontal and this line to be vertical, so you can just position it a bit so that Fusion knows what you're trying to achieve. Then go in the constraint and click on the horizontal tool. And once you have it in hand, you can just click on the first one and then on the second one, and both of them will be constrained as you need them. This one will be horizontal, this one will be vertical. Now, what we need to do otherwise for the curve of the hinge to be actually like smooth for the arcs, you need to constrain it tangentically. So that's this one right over here. So tangent, make sure that both of them are tangent to the body. Once you do that, you actually have the most basic shape created. And now you can just go over here, and now we need to design the hole for the keychain to even go in. So now this is perfect. Now the radiuses or the diameters over here, it's radiuses that I chose for them is 35 is for the inner one, and then 63 for the outer one. You can always edit these values completely to yourself, and then just make the first the hole, so just a circle in the middle of it, stretch it out. I made it 4 millimeters because that's a value that I found that really my keys need to even fit inside of there. And then I just made a really simple shape to basically surround the hole so that it wouldn't be so that it would be even surrounded with some kind of material. Right now it looks very stupid, but I will edit it right quickly. Make this, click on it, make it construction by clicking X, then just make it horizontal or vertical, go down there, click on it so that it, as you can see right now it's horizontal, perfect. And now I can just um, make the angle. I really like the angle of 70 degrees, or sorry, I dimensioned the wrong dimension, so you can select these two lines and select I like 70 degrees, and then just make it basically symmetrical with the constraint so that it actually looks as if it was designed with intent. And then I wanted also to make this arc tangent to this line right over here. So again, select the constraint, make it tangent, and as you can see, it just screws up the sketch a bit, but you can always drag it out of the misery. As you can see, it stretched out this line a bit too much, so we can just constrain it. I want it to be 8 millimeters, and then of course it even screwed up the height, so you can again dimension it to be something that you want. For example, I want 4 millimeters. I'm going to explain really quickly why. Because I want at least the wall thickness of 2 millimeters. And if I give this 4 and this diameter is 4, that means the radius is 2. So from this point to this point right over here, it's 2, and then to the height, it's 2 as well. And the 8 that I did over here is because I want also the consistent thickness, wall thickness of 2. So from this point to this point, it's 2, then it's 4, and then it's 2 again. So that's complete 8, of course, so that it's the wall thickness of 2 alongside the whole design. That's what really gives it the consistent wall thickness, which is always nice to have. Now once you have this, that's basically the whole design of the body. Then you can just click on E as extrude, click on the two bodies. Once you click on them, you can just turn it around so you can see on the other side, because we want it to extrude to this body down here. You can go in the extrude menu and select the extend type to an object, and then just click the bottom of the hinge and it will extrude it straight up there. And once you click OK, you have even the body in there. And now all you basically need to do is just give it a bit of chamfers. Chamfers are always good to add because first of all, they remove the need or the possible problem of elephant foot, and it even makes it look a lot better because there won't be these very sharp edges, and even easier for the printer to do. And it looks nicer, of course. So go into modify section, select chamfers, and what I did is I just selected the edges of the whole key spinner, and then just put a chamfer of 1, which as you can see it gives it this nice surface or the finish. And then if you really want to go expensive, you can even fillet it to make it seem even better, but I think that this is really just as good as it can get. And now when you're here, you can just print it out, see what it can do, and then always just go in the first sketch or in the second one, edit it as you want, make it completely custom. And hopefully this guide was helpful for you to make a key spinner just like this. Hopefully the pace was a bit better. I will really appreciate any feedback in the comments because I'm still trying to figure out how to make these tutorials as good as possible so that they are not too slow to bore you, and fast enough to actually get you the thing in the matter of, or teach you the thing and explain it well enough for you to understand it, what is happening there, because that's a really important part of design. Because if you don't understand it, it will be really hard for you to replicate it later on. So hopefully this was helpful, and if you have any recommendations or suggestions for a tutorial or any feedback, drop it down in the comments and I will be definitely reading all of them. So until next time.